then you shouldn't have an opinion.
Where does a guy get a right to say what a woman is? Women only know what women are.
Are you a cat?
No.
Can you tell me what a cat is?
This is actually a genuine mistake. I am sorry I even came up there.
Do you want to tell us what a woman is?
Are you sick, ma'am? Are you wearing that for safety or just to let everybody know who you're voting for? I think she's laughing. I can't tell. That's awesome. Thank you for coming despite your
idiocy.
It turns out that 56% of all American households will be in the top 10% at some point or other in their lives, usually when they're older.
Wow. Over half?
And
over half will be in the top, all right.
Yes. And actually, when you get down to the top 1%, it's even more incredible. Of all the people in the top 1% in the course of a decade, the majority, the great majority, are there 1 year. Only 13% are there 2 years. And so we're talking about people who have a spike in income in 1 year for some reason or other. They inherited something.
They sell their company.
They have assets accumulated over the years, and they sell them in that 1 year. I mean, in the year I haven't checked, but I wouldn't be surprised if I hit my income peak when I sold my house on the Stanford campus, and have never been near that since. No, and of course, it was all absorbed in paying for another house elsewhere. So
welcome to California.
As you said correctly in the past, the vast majority of cases of abortion are not because of rape.
That's right.
That is a minority.
A form of birth control, effectively.
Exactly. And so for the tiny minority that is because of rape, I think, can we agree that it's a woman being put into a scenario where she has to take care of another life?
Situation, I agree.
Against her will.
When in morality, is it right to do a wrong thing after a wrong thing? Let's pretend a woman is brutally raped, okay?
Yes.
And I have two ultrasound pictures.
Yeah.
One of a baby that was conceived consensually, and one of a baby that was conceived in rape. Which one is it?
You can't tell the difference.
Because they're both human beings.
Okay, I see what you mean.
And human dignity needs to be applied to all people, right? Including the being in the womb. And I'm not minimizing the pain or the suffering, but then adding another element on top of that. In morality, doing a wrong thing after a wrong thing or an evil thing after an evil thing because of convenience or utility, those are not the ethics that built the West.
You know, Charlie's making a great argument here, and my personal opinion is I am on the side with Charlie on this issue. Now, the only instance that I have is if abortion is required to save the life of the mother, that would be the exception that I would basically have personally. But those are so rare. I've talked to my colleagues in the OBGYN field, and that very rarely comes up. In fact, 3 or 4 of them, which are in our community, it's never come up in their practices, either with them or with others. Not that sometimes, pregnancies go, have their difficulties. But as far as having a situation in which they had to make a choice between the life of the mother and the life of the baby, that if they didn't do something that the mother would die, that has never even come up in any of their practices, in any of their patients in their practices. Now, getting back to what Charlie was saying is that, however, I know that my position is a very, very tiny majority of the population, as is Charlie's, as is so many others in the right to life movement, in the anti-abortion movement. But I would still say that I would, because of what's happened, I would leave it up to the states now to decide. If I have my vote, I vote the way of my conscience. But if the will of the people of the state is to have that, in the cases of incest or rape, that they would allow for the exception to have the abortion, and the state and the people want that, I'm going to have to live with that. Anyways, let's continue.
After an evil thing because of convenience or utility, those are not the ethics that built the West.
It's legal for them to come across
It's completely illegal.
That's against the Statue of Liberty. That's against our Constitution. You are full of You're full of bullshit.
Well, you just said according to Statue of Liberty, that was a gift. In 2018, Border Patrol arrested 1,588 sex traffickers.
All right, you're mentally ill.
No, I'm just giving you facts and you're running away from them.
People?
That is not correct. I care about other people, and that's why I believe in strengthening our borders and preventing this terrible stuff from happening.
You just care about yourself and you're selfish.
Go, baby, go, go. Come on, you can do it. A few more inches. A few more inches. And you're making it. Yes! Victory!
Yeah. But the people who were born didn't get born like, oh, I'm signing up to have my heart thrown down like apocalypto.
I think that they're...
Do you see what you're saying right now? It's unbelievable. And as a Jewish person, especially when you really understand the importance of Jews, and I believe Jews need a homeland with Israel because they had their rights completely violated for a long time. I mean, what do you think would happen if right now today a Palestinian ripped the heart out of a Jewish child to sacrifice to Allah?
Well, I don't think that would necessarily happen.
Of course it wouldn't happen.
But I'm also saying that this was, I mean, we're talking about a time that was not thousands of years ago, but it originated thousands of years ago. And
but
so
it was thousands of years ago with the settlers too, is my point.
Yeah.
My point is they had thousands of years still ripping out hearts and cannibalizing. Western Europeans had thousands of years plumbing and the wheel and horses.
Yeah.
One is better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You don't think one is better?
It's just that I don't think that we have the right to go to other civilizations and basically just try and, sure, it might make it, I mean, I think that there's something noble in saying, sure, we could try and make your life easier, but I don't think that we have the right to tell other people what they're doing wrong when this is what they believe in. It's a religion, and I think that bringing Judaism into it is not, in my opinion, a very good thing, just because I think I think that...
I brought Christianity into it, too. I'm saying I believe that the Jewish culture is better than the ripping out hearts culture.
I mean, I would also say that I don't really like bringing the Holocaust into things like that, just because
I didn't bring the Holocaust into it.
I mean, it's been brought in just before, but I definitely think that talking about modern day Judaism and then referring to older.
These woke social justice warrior students on campuses paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to get this type of a education, which is basically propaganda. There are cultures that are better than other cultures. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Modern day culture is certainly better than it was decades, centuries, millennia ago. To say that you brought water, fresh water, food, salinization, that you brought medicines to areas of the world, that you brought electricity, that you brought, as I said, clean water, the ability to have, not be basically taking a bath in your own filth, to have the modern conveniences, to have those things imparted into a community of people that never had that before. That's bad. You're forcing them to take medicines so they can live longer. You're forcing them to drink cleaner water because it's better for them. You're forcing them to do these kind of things. No, you're bringing it to them. This lady girl, what she does is she brings in, Judaism. He never even talked about Judaism or any type of religion bringing into it. This lady is bringing into it, and her argument falls absolutely flat.
Religions, the Mayans, which to this day still practice, but do not continue with these ripping out rituals, and maybe that's because
it's impermissible.
Maybe that's because we came in and we said maybe you shouldn't do that anymore.
Right.
But at the same time, we shouldn't be saying instead you should convert to Christianity. Instead, you should convert to our religion because it's superior. I think that.
Well, namely, it was because at that point, the reason we had to do it was because to ensure that people weren't being cannibalized and having their hearts ripped out.
So you're saying if you're not a woman, then you shouldn't have an opinion?
Where does a guy get a right to say what a woman is? Women only know what women are.
Are you a cat?
No.
Can you tell me what a cat is?
This is actually a genuine mistake. I am sorry I even came up there.
Do you want to tell us what a woman is?
I have a friend who has a trans kid. He's explained that, my child from a very young age consistently said, I am a girl, never changed their mind. And so the humane thing and the thing that he felt was good to do as a parent was to embrace that choice. I shouldn't even phrase it as a choice, embrace that identity.
But it is a choice, right? Choosing to add hormones to a child's body.
It's a choice it's a choice on the part of the parent.
Okay, but if that's who they are, if they think that they're a girl, why do you have to give them hormones to make them more of a girl?
Because I'm sorry, can you expand on the question?
It's a simple question. If the child thinks it's a girl, let it be a girl. Why are you adding hormones? You're choosing to inject things into this child's body on a regular basis that are going to radically affect the physical development of their body.
Yeah.
And you're saying that this isn't a choice. Well, it's definitely a choice.
That is a great, great question from Joe Rogan. And you see, that guy had absolutely no freaking answer. If the person thinks it's a girl, okay, go ahead. Be a girl. Think like it's a girl. Why do you have to inject hormones in there to make it come true if you already think you are? Great question. No answer.
To do that.
But for me, I don't see myself working. I don't see myself getting a 9 to 5. I want to be.
Wait.
Hold on a minute.
Wait.
I want to be with a man who's a provider, who will allow me to be a housewife. I want to be a lady of leisure.
Tell me about the birthday thing you told me, please. I wouldn't
buy a man a birthday gift. No. He has me.
Stop. I'm so sorry. You yourself, you're useless. You're useless. You're fucking useless. You're useless human being.
What happens now, God forbid, if your husband gets sick and it can't work?
Then I have to find a new one. But for me, I don't see myself working. I don't see myself getting a 9 to 5. I want to be. Hold on a minute. I want to be with a man who's a provider, who will allow me to be a housewife. I want to be a lady of leisure.
Tell me about the birthday thing you told me, please. I wouldn't
buy a man a birthday gift. No. He has me.
Stop. I'm so sorry. You yourself, you're useless. You're useless. You're fucking useless. You're useless human being.
What happens now, God forbid, if your husband gets sick and it can't work?
Then I have to find a new one.
Oh boy, here we go. They've glued their hands.
Excuse me.
Sorry,
Glued on.
Sorry, mate.
If socialist professors really believe the nonsense that they profess, why don't they teach for free? Why do they sell the books back to the kids, and why do they charge so much per credit hour? If they're such benevolent and wonderful, communitarians and socialists, just do it for free. Get rid of the profit structure. Be a true example of that which in a Marxist society. But of course, it's really interesting.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, Charlie Kirk absolutely hits it right on the head. That's true, folks. These socialist, Marxist professors, these communist professors, these leftist liberals, these woke, social justice warriors that polish their halos every day and put it on so it's bright and shiny when they come into class and talk about Marxist theory and socialist theory and liberal and leftist theory and how everything is bad in the capitalist system and we need to rip it and tear it apart. These same professors, these same teachers, these same ideologues benefit hugely, bigly from the capitalist system. They write their books and they overcharge their students by hundreds and hundreds of dollars. They get huge salaries from colleges and universities, especially when they become tenured at some of these huge, huge universities. They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Look at that idiot, that Mrs. Magoo, Claudine Gay, the ex-president of Harvard. What the hell is a Harvard professor making $900,000 a year? What? $1 million a year for teaching 1 or 2 classes a week and plagiarizing her own work? That's how you get rewarded, folks. But they don't talk about that, right? You think she'd be getting that in a socialist environment? In a Marxist environment? Of course not. Of course not. But they're all hypocrites, folks. They're all hypocrites. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasser Shake Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasser. If you haven't done so already, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow us. Let us know what you think. Put your comments down below. Take a look at our video links above and below. My final thought is always, when you're right, you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.